Hi guys! I hope you enjoyed our last video, and I'm here to be able to continue the story of Amy Carmichael. But first, let's review a little bit about what we learned in the last video. Do you remember how Amy asked God for blue eyes? And when she woke up the next morning, what did God say? Did she have blue eyes? No, she didn't, did she? God had told her no. And Amy learned at a very young age how important it is to trust God when He answers our prayer, because He knows what's going to happen in our future. And even though Amy was very, very sad waking up with brown eyes the next morning, she trusted God, and very soon she would start to see His plan for her life unfold. God has a plan for your life too. Don't forget that. He's working for your good all the time. When Amy grew up, she went to India. Now, if you think about a person who is from India, you know that they have brown eyes, right? It's pretty amazing that God knew what Amy needed from when she was really little. He knows what you need too. So, as she grew up and went to live in India, she often wished that she could disguise herself so that she could better know the Indian people by going into the places that only they could. As a foreigner, she couldn't go into their big stone temples and learn their culture because everybody could see that she was not one of them, and many times she was excluded from doing things. So she really was concerned about being able to disguise herself so that she could learn more about the Indian people and teach them about Jesus, because after all, that's what God had asked her to do, to communicate who Jesus is. And she had a beautiful relationship with Jesus. She wanted other people to know that He came from heaven, became a baby, grew up as a perfect man, and never sinned. And then He took our punishment for our sins and the bad things that we did and died on the cross. And then He rose again on the third day, and He's alive. And He wants a relationship with us. And all we need to do is believe on Him. And Amy knew that. And she wanted to share that with the Indian people. But first, she had to figure out how she could disguise herself. And she would frequently talk to her friends and try to brainstorm and figure out what she could do. Well, she experimented, and one day she figured out that she could use coffee to dye her skin a beautiful soft brown color, just like the Indian women. And then she would put on a robe and a scarf, just like the Indian women. And she discovered that she looked just like them. Her friends would smile and say, "You look Indian, all right, and you have a very good disguise. It's a very fortunate thing that your eyes are brown, because you couldn't possibly disguise them." Can you believe that? God knew. It's amazing what God does in our lives in order to prepare us for a beautiful future with Him as we serve Him. Blue eyes? Amy thought and remembered. Oh, that's what God was doing when He said no. For that one small disappointment, God had given her the best answer. Amy needed brown eyes in order to learn everything she needed to know about the Indian people and their culture. He had a special purpose for Amy, just like He does for you. Amy knew that she could not dare try to get in the temple as a blue-eyed foreigner. Her life would be in danger. She was disguised with her brown eyes, and now she could discover the secrets of India and help people. Let's see what happens next in our next video. Bye, guys.